All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to HRL MegaMix Series, week number 9, Firestone Firehawk week. And I wanted to do a sick intro shot like I usually do, but we got all this map cheesing loading in. There we go. Oh yeah, that's great. That's great. But yeah, Firestone Firehawk week. Starting off here with Lancaster, which we're on. Then we'll go to Linden Plateau, which is a track that we did not get to in the last Firestone Firehawk season, but it is a classic. It was definitely a snub there, so making up for that tonight, racing it on the second moto. And then Everhog, which is a hog version, spiced up a little bit, but pretty similar to Everglade. And Everglade's another classic Firestone Firehawk track that we raced multiple times. I think we even did the quad on it, 4 motos in the last season. So always a lot of races on Everglade. But yeah, with the Barvo cheese last week, switching that over to Goose's. This was going to be 3 H4 Firestone Firehawk tracks, potentially the 2 old ones and then maybe a new one. But then with that happening, decided to switch it around and be like, okay, well now we can make up for that, work in a hog race here, and do a hog remake instead of a new Firestone Firehawk track. So it's kind of what happened there. Yeah, just wanted to fix that balance a little bit. But for tonight, usually we're used to doing heat races for the lineup. Tonight, we actually did qualifying for the lineup. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through everybody's position and go through their fastest lap. I'm not going to go through each lap. Did do 2 laps for everybody, but I'm just going to go off their fastest ones. So taking the pole tonight, which kind of surprisingly, I think this is the first pole he's gotten in any of the qualifying nights, I want to say. I think so. But Detail taking the pole tonight on Lancaster with a lap of 56.392. And then second was Luke with a 56.455. And then starting in third, we had Opix with a lap of a 57.764. Slaunch fourth with a 57.822. And then fifth, we had Fireball with a 58.08. Roman sixth with a 58.82. I'm just going to go by 2 now. Speed this up a little bit. Soul, 7th with a 58.936. And then in 8th, we had, this gotta be elite, right? 59.03. Hunter, 59.398. Camby with a 59.78. Coop with a 60, damn near 60 flat, 60.09. And Armada running at the field with a 63.02. So there you go. That was the qualifying lineup and the lineup for the race. Sticky Det is down. It's going to be 15 laps. 15 laps here around Lancaster. You can hear the Sticky Det about to go off. Very tricky track. Start going to be super important. It's a tricky start with these grab volumes. That's one of the things that makes this track super unique. We'll talk about that as we go through it. Quite a few of those placed throughout. Sticky Det goes off for green. Already some big moves at the front and in the middle as well. Oh! A big lockup for Luke in the front. That opens up the door for Opix. Opix going for it. Goes down to 4th now. Slaunch moves up to second. Fireball going into the top 5. Might have already qualified there, but had some pressure from behind. He's definitely got it. Oh, big lockup in the back. Hunter goes down. That's so weird how the Goose audio works in this game. That's gonna trip me out the whole race probably. Meanwhile, with all this cheese going down, Slaunch has taken the lead. So started 4th. But he's going to lead the first lap. Very strong start for him. And he did have a very strong race here. I want to say he won the overall of Lancaster when we raced it last. So maybe a bit spooky for the field to see him get to the lead so quickly. But we'll see what kind of show they can put on. Luke, Detail, and Opix all qualified faster than Slaunch, but Slaunch showing some better pace in the race so far. Opix still doing a good job holding on to 4th, but he's got Fireball right behind him. He's going to have to worry about that. Slaunch so far has the pressure from Luke. Detail goes back to third a bit. Running different lines here. Slaunch going for that inside, Luke going for that outside. And it's an interesting section there. I think what it is I think the outside's generally a bit faster, but I think the inside does offer some passing opportunities, so I think I need some water. Maybe an opportunity here, not quite. Oh! Luke with a slight opening for a moment, but not able to do anything. Slaunch holds onto the lead for another lap. 2 laps down. It's a 15-lap race. Opic's got a little bit of breathing room on 5th now. Very tight for the front spots. Detail with a nice run of the inside, and it looks like he's going to take that 2nd place spot. Meanwhile, Slaunch having a really good lead. He actually gains a bit there. The last few sections, he's got a few goose lengths to work with now. Maybe a move here. He can go for some big dives. Oh! Going for something on Detail. Not quite able to find it, though. It's very close. Top 3 super fight at the moment. Opix and Fireball still have a pretty good gap for 4th and 5th. I think it's Roman and Soul, Camby, Elite, Coop, Armada, Hunter. We just ran through the whole field. Ooh, big send to the inside, and battle for 2nd continues. Luke and Detail going back at each other. Oh, wow, that was a move. Slaunch is getting a bit of a gap, but nothing too crazy yet. Can't really call it a race quite yet, but he is getting some nice breathing room, which is good to have on these Firehawk tracks because you never know when a mistake is going to come on these tracks. Very easy to make pretty brutal mistakes on all of these tracks, especially the next one coming up, but this one too. But especially the later 2 tracks in the night, I'd say. Everhog has a lot of potential to make big mistakes. Linden has a lot of bumps that you can hit wrong and can really lose you a lot of time. And on the other hand, some sections that if you nail can gain you a ton. I think this track's got a good skill gap, but the other 2 might have even more so, which is kind of crazy because this one definitely has a decent amount, but it might be the lowest skill gap of the night, which is saying something. Oh, Detail going for a saucy move on Slaunch right there. Not able to make it work. Definitely saw something there, but wasn't happening. Waiting to see if one of them goes for this inside again. It seems like most of the drivers are now starting to elect to go towards the outside. It's a little bit more inside action earlier in the race. Oh, Slaunch goes wide. Here we go. Oh, tight cheese. Let's take a look at that. Actually, I want to take a look at the whole thing. Let's see the battle here. Yeah, Slaunch slides out wide, like super wide going into it, and Luke sticks it tight. So now it was like 3 wide for a moment with the screen lag. It shouldn't have been, but with the screen lag it was. And then Luke looking for some daylight, not quite getting it on the jump there. That's brutal. Gonna go down. Saw an opportunity there, not gonna work out, so gonna have to try to work it back from 3rd now. It's a pretty decent gap. You can make that back up. Slaunch and Detail still pretty close to each other. A decent gap though. Look at Roman and Opix here. Roman going for it. Looks like he's gonna take it. And Opix is still holding off Fireball. Wow, Roman's on a charge. Roman's on an absolute charge. The last time we saw him, he was battling with Soul. Now he's made passes by Fireball and Opix. We just caught the last one, missed the one on Fireball. This opens up the door for Fireball on Opix. He goes for the slide job. Slides out a little too far. Ooh, we might have some battles opening up. Lead battle's on. Lead change gonna come in. Detail taking the lead now. Slaunch going back to 2nd. See if Slaunch can get it back. Start was incredible this race. He's been doing a pretty good job so far. Yeah, the start was absolutely immaculate. Loving the over-under cheese. The layout on these tracks, all these tracks tonight are sick, honestly. Really like these old Firestone Firehawk layouts. Oh, Slaunch, now that he's been passed, trying something different, he's going back to the inside line, trying to find something there. See if that ends up working out for him. Oh, Detail slides out. Makes the same mistake that we've seen Slaunch make multiple times. Apparently, it's just cursed. Apparently, if you're in the lead, you just slide out on that turn. Apparently, it's just how this track works. Oh. Some lag cheese. See if we can catch it on the VOD. There it is. Opix hits the black screen. Right there. Boom. And we call caution, get everyone stopped. On the track, I'm going to fast forward a bit. I have to finesse this one a little bit because this is the thing that I don't like about the cautions on the GP. Well, I should say the Firehawk type tracks is when this type of situation happens where Fireball probably gained a little bit of an advantage because he kind of had to take that jump to have speed to make it. And then Opix now kind of is with Fireball, so he has to find a way to try to time this right to get the perfect re-entry and try to get it the best that we can. You get them lined up side by side, and Opix is just going to wait after Fireball goes to try to line it up the best that he can because unfortunate with where they stopped with the jump right there. Wow, this game's draw distance is fantastic. But yeah, we get the race started again. So Slaunch just took the lead back from Detail, but then here in the first turn, gets the lockup. Detail's gonna go by. Wow, Armada and Coop's battle. That was a sick shot right there, catching everything. And with all this cheese going down, with them making these mistakes up front, Luke's now back. Maybe not for the lead battle unless Slaunch can get back in there, but Slaunch is second place. Maybe not safe now. Oh, another mistake. So definitely not safe now. Second place battle's back on. Roman and Fireball very, very close. Opix and Solgan pretty close too. Oh, not hitting the slide out that time. Not getting the slide out. Kind of rare, I guess. Gonna be hitting the halfway point of the race. We're crossing it this time. 15-lap race. We're completing 8 right there. 8 laps down. And it's honestly been a pretty good race so far. Pretty good battling up front. Waiting for something to happen here. They're really close for second place, but not opening up quite yet. Maybe do we see an inside move here? No, not quite. Do we see a slide out here? I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay, that was not on purpose, I swear. Slaunch actually hits the slide out again, and it's a brutal one. He has to wait all the way for the goose to respawn. That's going to cost him. He's going to go way back to third. Ah, Fireball and Roman getting into it with their battle. Let's take a look at that one. Super tight. And I think Fireball got laid off the side a little bit there. I understand why it happened, because Roman was probably ahead on his screen with how close they were in theater and was probably coming back across, but yeah, he probably got cheesed just a bit there. Opix and Soul still pretty close with each other. Soul not giving up on that. Seems like a lot of the field has stepped up their race pace, because looking at the qualifying laps, Opix had a pretty good gap, but it's like a lot of the rest of the field has figured something out or gotten things a little bit better. Awesome boopage. Stepped it up a bit. And it seems like the way things have gone so far. Yeah, the lead battle was honestly really nice for a bit. Going into 5 to go, I mean, it's going to be pretty gapped at this point unless some mistakes come in. Which, again, I think is more likely on the other tracks than this one. But, yeah, 1-2 looking pretty gapped. I mean, Slaunch is kind of in his own area code now. Roman's driven away from Fireball and isn't too far behind Slaunch. Does Roman have, like, some crazy pace, low-key here? I don't know. Have to keep our eyes on that. See if we can keep marching forward because Roman's definitely had some nice passes. We caught a few of them. He's been off to a pretty good start. And I mean, this is kind of what I went over in the recap. I brought up the stats and, you know, obviously for next week with the H3 terrain, we don't really have stats for that. So I can't really bring up any past stuff. But I brought that up for this week. The last Firestone Firehawk series results. And I was looking at that. And so far, yeah, I mean, pretty accurate. The top 4 is the top 4 that, you know, I kind of predicted in the video. Maybe not in the order that you would expect, at least on this track in particular. Again, I think Slaunch was the winner of this one, I want to say. I could be faded. I'm pretty sure it was him for the overall in this one. In that series, taking 2 of the motos, I want to say. Yeah, maybe a slightly different order. But the top 4, though, is the top 4 that we saw a lot in that series. And that's what we're seeing so far in this first moto. We'll see if they can keep it up throughout the night. Because that's what we saw a lot of out of them in that season. Got 2 battles brewing here. Opix and Soul still close. Oh, I like the slide move. It's Elite and Camby going at it, too. 2 nice battles cooking up here. Model trying to hold off Hunter. Yeah, it's getting a little strung out at this point. 3 to go. Kind of usually like how these races go. To be fair, we had pretty good action. Pretty good action for most of this race. And it's actually only been like a couple laps. I expected things to get singled out a lot quicker, but we had some big moves. We had some sends, some spicy stuff like that kept things close for a while. I think the lockup in this game is what keeps things spicy at times because... I mean, you could definitely play around it, but when you don't race this game every week, it's an easy mistake to make for everybody. I think even the people that race it consistently still make that mistake sometimes. And, yeah, whenever those lockups happen, that's just like a guaranteed mistake. And then if they're near another driver, they could get into somebody. Mata getting into the barrier there. But yeah, if they're near another driver, they could get into somebody. They could block the road. Like, it just kind of spices everything up. So it's just that one thing that in almost any type of turn, that's always like a constant factor. You always have to think about it. Detail's looking pretty strong for the moto win here. The only thing that could prevent this would be Coop. Coop and Armada potentially. He does have some lap traffic. We are going to get some lap traffic here late in the race. And if something cheesy happens with them, that's the only thing that I think could spice this up at this point. So let's see if anything crazy happens. Oh. Oh. Coop gonna hit a big slide out, so don't think that's gonna offer any spice there. I think that's just gonna be pretty normal blue flag wave around there. Armada, I mean, that's a pretty big gap, but Armada just slammed it into the barricades, so I mean, he could still catch Armada, but we're on the white flag now, and I'm thinking this is probably pretty wrapped. Thinking this is probably locked. Yeah, that is quite a gap there for him to make up. Detail's so close to getting the top spot of the podium last week in both motos. Trying to start off this week on top and recovering from that. Oh, Armada locked up. Oh. Armada's holding them up. I don't think it's going to be enough. It's too big of a gap. Yeah, trying to get that top spot. Came so close last week. Wasn't able to get it. It's going to start off this week in first place. Takes the first moto. Luke going to take second. That's Coop right there. A lap down. Slaunch taking third. Roman 4th. We got a battle on the left. Fireball 5th. Gonna win out in this battle. Soul and Opix, they've been going at it all race. Opix goes for the switchback. Oh, not able to get it. Soul, I think literally on that last lap, finally got Opix. They were going at it like the entire moto, it felt like. Then Elite. Camby. Every time we like checked in on that side of the field, I mean, felt like they were close with each other the entire race. And Hunter. There they are, coming around one more time. Armada. Gonna beat out Coop in this one. And give credit to Armada. I mean, he was way off Coop's pace in the qualifying. Ended up beating him in the race. So there you have it. Lancaster, Moto 1, GG's. Pretty cheese race. One more time on the podium, or in the top 5. Detail, Luke, Slaunch, Roman, and Fireball. So Detail taking the win, closing the lead gap a bit more. See if we can continue that. In race number 2, we're going to go to Linden Plateau, which is the